Episode 2 of Faith Fueled Freedom. Today's topic is it's not a diet, it's discipleship for your health. And I really want to focus on the fact that what I help women with is not a diet, right? And I truly wholeheartedly believe in that. I don't believe in crash diets. They are so bad for your body and for your spirit, right? Because they just set you up for inevitable failure. And then we get stuck in this horrible cycle of we gain the weight back, we try and lose it. It gets harder and harder and harder each time. And our bodies and our spirits, our hearts are just, they end up broken. So it is not what we are putting into our body. It is not about eating all of the junk. It is not about restricting to the point that we can't function. It is not about focusing on what I can't have. It's learning to focus on what I can have and what I get to do, right? So, discipleship for your health means being fed by something other than the scale, right? Being fed by something other than what society tells us we're supposed to look like or what size we're supposed to be. It's feeding our hearts and our minds so that the rest of it falls into place. Okay? If your only concern for wanting to do something about your body or your health is that you want the number on the scale to go down, you're going to continue to struggle. Because we're so iffy when it comes to that stuff, ladies. Like, I want the scale to change today, but tomorrow when I'm not feeling it and I'm tired and I'm sore, like, I'm just not going to get on the scale, right? Like, we have to be fed and we have to be motivated and we have to be encouraged by things other than that number on the scale. I want more energy throughout the day. I want to be able to sleep through the night without waking up every night at 2 a.m., right? I want to not have horrific hot flashes all day long. I want to come home from work and not want to just sit on the couch and collapse at the end of my workday because I still have hours at home with my family. Okay? So, knowing your why. What is that why? What is your driving factor that is making you go into this health journey in the first place? Having a number on the scale as a goal, there's nothing wrong with that. Okay? I'm not saying don't do that, but there needs to be more. There needs to be a bigger goal, a bigger why, a bigger driving force so that it becomes a discipleship. It becomes about treating our bodies well and not just, okay, well, now I have to punish myself because I didn't reach that number on the scale. And that's the mentality that we get so often. Oh, I didn't eat right today, so I'm going to work out extra hard tonight. And what that ends up doing is it puts us in a punishment mentality, right? Which we should not have with ourselves. We should not be punishing ourselves that way. But it also, that extra hard workout that you think is going to help actually is not. It's putting more stress on your body. And when you continually do things like that, you're just going to end up raising the cortisol levels, which is our stress hormone, which messes up our sex hormones, which messes up our insulin, which causes us to hold on to that extra weight that we are so desperately trying to get rid of with that super hard workout because we're punishing ourselves. Discipleship for your health means choosing foods that heal your body rather than harm it. Okay? 100% food is either medicine or it is poison. And you have the choice every single day of what you're choosing. We can eat foods that heal. So your vegetables, your fruits, your lean proteins, right? Your whole grains, depending on what it is. Not every whole grain is bad, right? Those are healing foods. They help our cells activate. They transport vitamins. They give us minerals. They do all of the things that our bodies are set up to do. Versus the drive-through hamburger, right? Those foods harm our body. And so when you're sitting there and you're deciding what you're going to eat throughout the day, assessing, is this going to harm me? Is this hurting my body or is it healing my body? Right? We should be choosing, the majority of the foods should be healing our body. It doesn't mean that you can't ever have a drive-through burger, but you want to limit the things that are going to harm you, right? And we limit other things that harm us all the time, right? Lots of people do not smoke cigarettes because they're like, no, it causes lung cancer. It's bad for my heart, all of those things. But those same people have no problem eating fast food 4 or 5 nights a week. Because it's harming your body just as badly. So choosing foods that heal versus foods that harm. That is a way that you can start looking at the situation versus I can or I can't have this, right? And that's a common mentality that women have when they're going into a weight loss journey, a health journey is, well, even some of my clients are like, my coach says I can't have that. Well, you can choose to have whatever you want, right? It's about learning what is actually fueling my body, what is healing my body, and what is harming my body. And getting into that different mindset is really what is going to make it more of a lifelong transformation versus that crash diet of, I can't have that for the next 4 months. That's not the way we should be looking at it. We should be looking at those types of foods cause my joints to hurt. They give me a headache. I'm going to feel bloated. I'm not going to sleep well tonight. My skin is going to break out. Do I want to go down that path? Do I want those symptoms? Or do I want to choose something that is going to make me feel good? And then make that choice moving forward. It's not about what you can or can't have. Okay, another aspect of it being a discipleship for your health is practicing grace. You guys, none of us are perfect. And if you are going into any journey, whether it's a health journey, a learning journey, a job journey, anything, and you are expecting to be perfect at it, you are setting yourself up for failure. We are not perfect beings. Okay, so learning to have grace with yourself and remembering there are going to be times where you don't make perfect choices, and that is okay. It doesn't require a punishment. It doesn't require guilt. It doesn't require shame. It doesn't require frustration. It simply requires for you to say, it's done, and I'm going to move on. Right? I'm going to just hop back on that train that I was on, eat something healthy at my next choice. That's all. Okay, and I know it sounds super easy for me to say, and it's way different when you're going through it. But having that intentionality with yourself of, I am not going to beat myself up over this. Okay? And then learning, ladies, the difference between grace and complacency. Okay, so if you're continually day after day, meal after meal, making poor choices, and you're telling yourself, well, Meg said I should have grace, that's different, right? That is being complacent and not holding yourself up to the standard that you want to hold yourself up to. Understanding that you're not going to be perfect is totally fine. Continually making poor choices, that is different, and learning to understand the difference between the two. And that takes practice and that takes time, right? But it is an important aspect because so many times we go on these kicks where we're like, okay, it's Monday, I'm going to eat great. And we do great Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday comes around and we make a bad choice. And then what happens for so many women is they're like, see, I knew I couldn't do it, so I'm going to make another bad choice. And I make another bad choice because at this point it doesn't matter, right? I've already messed it up. And we go down these rabbit holes of spiraling like, well, I can't do it. The key is to be like, I'm not perfect. Doesn't matter. I made a bad choice. Let's move on. I'm going to make a better choice the next meal. Okay. And having the support systems in place to help you with that are super pivotal. Okay. An example, I had a client last week. She went on vacation. She did amazing on vacation, Monday through Friday. That weekend, she had a huge road trip to go on. Some stuff happened, and she did not make good choices over the weekend. And she texts me Monday, and she's like, I did great through the week. I had a really bad weekend, and I'm overwhelmed on how to do this for the rest of the week because her work schedule was really crazy. Literally in 5 minutes, we had a game plan mapped out. By Monday night, she was already back on track. She had an amazing week that next week, and she continued to lose weight. So having that support system in place to help you get out of that rabbit hole, get out of those spirals, and realize, I know what to do. I just need to get back on track and stop convincing myself that I need to punish myself or convincing myself that I can't do this. Right? Because none of us are perfect. And going into this journey, understanding and remembering that is going to be so helpful for you. Again, we talked at looking at your why in the beginning of this video, but really when you're looking at this health journey and you're taking it into being a discipleship for your health and not a diet, really assessing that why, but not just for yourself. Ladies, here's the thing. Your health does not just affect you. Okay, and it took me a while to realize that. It took me a little bit to remember and to kick myself in the butt and honestly be put in the hospital before I had a wake-up call of my poor health choices were not just affecting me. They were affecting my entire family. They were affecting people around me. And it was not fair to them. It was not fair to them that I ended up in the hospital in liver failure. That was not fair to my children. Right? That wasn't just affecting me. And if you are not taking your health into account, you are doing a disservice to your family. So many times I hear women tell me, well, I think it's selfish to invest. I think it's selfish to go to the gym. What about my kids? What about my family? I don't have time because then I won't be pouring into them. Well, I have news for you. If you're in the hospital, you're not pouring into them. If you're coming home every day sick with headaches and exhaustion, you're not pouring into them. If you can't go and do activities with them because your joints hurt so bad, you're not pouring into them to the best ability that you can. I have been able to pour in so much more to everybody around me when I started taking care of myself, when I actually have the energy to do it, when I can go on a hike with my kids, when I can do all of the things, right? When I don't have to worry about what my health is doing to shorten my life. And I'm not saying it's going to be perfect, right? That's not what I am promising you. But if you are not assessing your health compared to how it's affecting your entire family, your friends, your work situation, the calling God has placed on your life, you are doing everybody a disservice. Okay, your health does not just affect you. And so when you're looking at that aspect and really sitting back and thinking about it, the lady reached out the other day and she said, I want to be able to play with my future grandkids. She's like, I wouldn't be able to right now. Because that is what I'm talking about. That is legacy building. That is generational change, right? When a woman changes her life, when a woman changes her health, she is changing generations because those children, those grandchildren, nieces and nephews, they are all watching you. They are learning from you. And if you can change yourself, you are teaching them better things, which is going to change their life. Okay, so looking at your health as a discipleship, even if it's just in that matter, your health is not just yours. Let me say that again. Your health is not just yours. So, some practical steps. What does this look like? You're like, that all sounds great, Meg, but what can I actually do to make that a reality, right? What does that even mean? So, practical steps on how you can start implementing some of this. One thing I'd like you guys to do this week, right? So many diets, so many things focus on what you can't have. Cut this out. And I've told you guys that before. I'm like, cut out processed food, cut out sugar. Don't eat this. I don't want you to focus on any of that this week. What I want you to focus on is adding in. We're going to try a process called crowding out. Okay? So increase your veggies. Increase your lean protein. Make sure you're getting in enough fiber. Okay? Don't worry about what you aren't supposed to eat. Worry about what you need to eat. Okay? So for tomorrow, increase your veggies with dinner. Have an extra serving. For breakfast, if you have some fresh fruit, add some fresh fruit with those eggs. The theory and the thought process and what will start happening is as you fill up on the stuff that you're adding in, it's going to crowd out the bad stuff. Because your body will get full. And it loves to get full on good fiber, on good fruits, on good protein. And if you eat those first, you won't want the bad stuff. You're simply crowding it out. You're not telling yourself you can't have it. If it's there and you still want to eat it this week, right? Focus on adding in, not what you can't have. We're going to crowd the bad stuff out this week, but we're not going to tell ourselves, Meg said I can't eat that. Nope, we are going to say, Meg said I should eat 2 servings or an extra serving of veggies at dinner tonight. Okay, start seeing how you feel the rest of the week by adding the good stuff in. Don't worry about the bad stuff. The more good stuff you add in, the more you're going to crowd out the bad stuff. Your body will naturally start crowding it out because it's full and it's satisfied, and the cravings will get better and they will go away on their own. Okay? Some other practical things that you can do to really focus on as a discipleship, not a diet. Increase some movement this week and think about, why are you increasing movement? Hey, why are you taking the stairs versus the elevator? You're taking the stairs versus the elevator so that you don't lose the ability to walk up the stairs. Right? And if you can't walk up the stairs right now, park farther and walk a little farther into your job or into the grocery store. Do what you can do physically to just start gradually increasing it, because when you increase movement, it decreases your chances of losing it, right? Use it or lose it. It is a very true motto. Okay? I lift weights at the gym for odd reasons. Not necessarily because of how my clothes fit, but I'm like one of those crazy people that want to carry every bag of groceries in on one trip because I don't like to go back and forth, especially since moving to Pennsylvania and my garage is not attached to my house. So I have to go down the steps on the front porch, back outside, like all of the things. So I lift weights so that I can carry 12 bags of groceries if I need to. Right? I do shoulder presses so that when my little nephew Mac comes and wants me to throw him up in the air 400 times in a row, that I can do it. Right? So when you're adding in your movement, when you're doing your workouts this week, think about, what is this helping my body do other than build some muscle? Why do I need this muscle? What is it doing for me? Right? Doing lunges or squats for me at the gym is so I can climb the stairs. And ladies, I've been to the point where I couldn't climb the stairs. One, I couldn't climb the stairs because it completely winded me. Two, I couldn't climb the stairs after my hip surgery, after I broke my hip, because I physically couldn't do it. Right? When I was able to climb stairs again months later, which doesn't happen to everybody when they break their hip, I did not take care of myself. So it was a much longer journey. When I was finally able to climb the stairs, I was like, I'm never losing that ability again. Right? I'm going to do whatever I need to do so that I don't lose that ability. So those are practical thoughts. Those are practical things that you can start looking at and assessing and applying it so that this becomes a discipleship for health and not a diet. Right? If you're focusing on your health journey as a temporary diet, you're going to continually be in that cycle over and over and over. I want to help you break that. And changing your heart and your mind are the first things that you need to start working on so that the rest of the stuff falls into place. I hope that you had an amazing day today. I hope that this has helped a little bit. I hope you have an amazing rest of your week. And stay tuned next week on Faith Fueled Freedom. We are going to be talking about fasting, why so many women fail at it, why it can be so hard, ways that you can set up your body to be successful at it, and what intermittent fasting should really look like as a female, because it is different than what a male should be doing, right? And many of you are trying to do it the way it is set up for a man's body, and it is harming your hormones. Okay, so we'll be talking about that next week. Again, I hope all of you have an amazing day.